I still remember that night like it's burned into my skin. The way the air in Dr. Harris's office went dead quiet right before Alexander exploded. Papers flew, a vase shattered his face, a furious shade of red. All that money, all that power, and the man looked like a kid who just got told there's no Santa. 3 months, the doctor said. Acute leukemia. Without a donor, his little girl was going to die. I was standing in the doorway, still in my uniform from the mansion. My hands shook, but my voice came out steady. I got tested, sir. I'm a match for your daughter. He turned eyes like ice. I will not let your blood run through my child's veins. I will save her with my money, not your pity. Those words cut deeper than any slap, but I didn't cry in front of him. I waited until I was back in the hall. I'd been raising Lily since she was a baby. She called me her angel. And still in that moment, I was nothing but staff. 3 months passed like a bad dream. Private jets, Swiss doctors, experimental drugs, millions. Gone, nothing worked. Lily's cheeks hollowed, her hair thinned, her giggle faded to a whisper. And at night, when the house got quiet, Alexander would sit slumped over a glass of whiskey, staring at the floor like it had betrayed him. Then came that winter afternoon. He walked into her hospital room, and I was there with a washcloth brushing Lily's forehead. She was so small under that quilt. He just stood there in the doorway. Why, he asked, his voice low, like he didn't even mean to say it out loud. Why do you love her so much? She's not your child. I looked up, my eyes burning. Because her mother once saved me. Years ago, when I had nothing, she told me I was worth more than the world said. How can I not try to save her child? My knees hit the tile before I even realized it. Please, sir, let me give her my Marrow. Don't let her die when I can save her. For a second, the whole world stopped. Then the mask on his face cracked. He crouched down, a tear sliding across his cheek. Forgive me, he whispered. If you can save her, do it. The next morning, they wheeled us both into surgery. My heart hammered, but my hands were calm. Down another hall, Lily clutched her doll. Alexander stood between our rooms, pacing like a caged animal. Hours later, Dr. Harris came out, eyes tired but smiling. It worked, he said. Against the odds, it worked. When Lily woke up, the first word out of her mouth was my name. The press called me the Angel of Boston. Headlines everywhere. Some praised me. Others sneered. Alexander stood in front of cameras, called me family, not staff. It cost him everything. His board fired him. Society turned its back. But he didn't flinch. He'd already learned the hard way that pride can't buy miracles. Then a letter came from Georgia. My cousin Clara. She'd seen me on the news. Daddy's sick bill's drowning us, she wrote. Folks here still say we ain't worth saving. I hadn't been back since I left barefoot and ashamed at 19. Now I was being asked to come home. Alexander saw me sitting with that letter staring into space. You've already proven them wrong, he said. But the shame felt like it was still waiting for me down those dusty roads. Still I went. I took Lily and Alexander with me. Fairview looked exactly like my memories, porches sagging, paint-peeling gossip spilling from every window. Thomas Reed stood at the edge of the crowd, arms crossed, eyes cold. We don't need outsiders, he spat. Take your charity and go. But I'd lost my brother Samuel to the same sickness. I knew what it cost to do nothing. So we built a clinic anyway right there in town. Donor drives free testing, a tiny storefront with secondhand furniture. And the town split in two families desperate for care on one side, Reed's people muttering on the other. They tried lawsuits, zoning codes, rumors, spray-painted slurs on the porch. We scrubbed, we kept working. Volunteers showed up, mothers with babies, Fathers who hadn't seen a doctor in years. Dr. Harris came down from Boston to help. The clinic became a lifeline. Then came the rally. Candles versus protest signs. Reed shouting into his megaphone. Me standing on the clinic steps, heart pounding. Fairview doesn't belong to hate, I said. It belongs to its children. A stone shattered a window. Children cried. I raised my hands and kept talking anyway. You can break glass, but you won't break hope. Something shifted that day. Reed's men started to lose their nerve. Families started showing up not just for medicine, but to sweep floors, to guard doors, to stand between me and the hate. But Reed wasn't done. One night after closing, his men stepped out of the shadows. Pretty words, he sneered. Let's see how they sound after tonight. Two of them shoved me against the clinic door. Pain shot through my shoulder, but I stared him down. You can break my bones, I said, but you won't break what we've built here. Headlights cut across the street. Alexander leapt out of his truck, roaring, "Get away from her!" Reed's men melted into the dark. For the first time, I saw fear in Reed's eyes. We kept going. Governor funding came through. The clinic expanded, but the threats grew uglier. Dead chickens on the steps, bottles hurled from passing trucks. Lily started to ask questions no child should ever have to ask. Am I different now? Do I have Maid's blood? I held her tight, whispering, that makes you more, not less. Alexander knelt beside her, voice breaking. The blood in your veins is love, nothing else. Then came the grand reopening. State officials, banners, news cameras. Alexander in a linen suit, Lily in a yellow dress, and me in a navy gown scanning the crowd for shadows. Reed was there, slipping between families. A flash of metal, a glint of glass, a Molotov igniting against the clinic wall. Flames screaming chaos. I grabbed the microphone. Stop. This is not who we are. You want to burn this clinic. Burn me with it because I'm not leaving. My voice cracked, but I stayed. Volunteers doused the fire. Alexander shoved through the smoke, grabbed Reed by the arm. Police sirens wailed. Families closed ranks around me, mothers and fathers forming a wall. Reed was dragged off, still spitting curses, but his power was broken. The clinic survived. More than that, the town had chosen to stand with hope, not hate. In the months that followed, we rebuilt. The window was replaced with glass etched with the words, "Love is stronger than fear." Alexander and I sat on the porch watching Lily run barefoot chasing fireflies. He turned to me, voice soft. You gave my daughter life. You gave this town hope. And you gave me something I thought I'd lost, a reason to believe in more than money. I shook my head. We gave it together. Now, when I stand in that little clinic watching parents bring their kids for care they never could afford before, I think about that night in Dr. Harris's office. About the man who once told me I'd never be more than staff. About the little girl who called me her angel. About Samuel's grave back in Georgia. I don't feel like a hero. I feel like someone who finally refused to bow. And that I've learned is where the power really is. When you stop bowing, when you stand up, even if your knees are shaking. You know, people still ask me why I stayed, why I risked my life, why I went back to the town that broke me. And I tell them the same thing, because love demanded it. Because no child should die while a match walks free. Because pride isn't worth a single funeral. And here's the truth. I want you to take with you, heroes aren't always the ones with titles. Sometimes they're the ones who scrub floors, who whisper bedtime stories, who offer a piece of themselves when no one's looking. So tell me what you think. Was Alexander's transformation real, or was it just guilt? Was the town's change enough, or was it too little too late? Drop your own stories in the comments, times when prejudice tried to shut someone out, or when someone's courage changed your life. Let's talk about what justice really looks like, not in speeches, but in the small, hard choices we make when no one's clapping. Because that's where change starts.